welcome to the Skyfood channel. Today some questions and answers about my new book Beezza, the King Bee Cookbook, and about the crowdfunding for the English translation. As you probably know, I would like to offer also this book in English language because I think it's an important topic and it's a unique book worldwide, so it would be nice if also people who don't understand German can read it. And then I get some questions from a person who is very interested in edible insect and sustainable food, from Charlotte Guesson. She's also not only a student in the High School of Management in Paris, she's also very interested in sustainable food topics and has her own Facebook channel that you can see here, Box Road Trip. On the picture you can see on the right Professor Dr. Yupa and Boon Song from the Konkan University. If you are a supporter and a subscriber of my YouTube channel about edible insects, you know her already from there. I published an interview with her around 1 year ago, and Charlotte also is very interested in following all these interesting persons that talk about edible insects today, also in Thailand. So here are her questions. Good evening, Daniel. What is your book offering to the people going to read it? So first of all, although it's called the King Bee Cookbook or the Bienen Cookbook, the Honeybee Cookbook, it's not only about honeybees, it's also about our situation in the Western world on the move to a new phase called entomophagy, eating of insects. And this is also a brief abstract of the history of entomophagy, here also about stigmatization of entomophagy, that already today, although today people think that eating insect is something bad or primitive, or it's involved a lot of negative things with eating insect, because insects have become pests in cultures where agriculture is a normal way of getting the food, whereas before in the natural societies that live as a hunter-gatherers, insects have been just one of the gifts of nature that they picked from the trees and have eaten. So this is one of the breaks also in our history with eating insects in the Western world, and we are now on the brink to go back or force back to a new stage of entomophagy. Why? Because our planet is too small to support so many people who want to eat meat and proteins from higher animals that are produced the way we produce them today. Because today we spoil 70% of the arable land worldwide for the production of feed. It's not for humans that we have all these fields and soya stuff going on, and all this palm oil stuff going on. It's mostly for feed that we use them. So this can't go on like this, because our planet will be too small if we go on like this. And that's why the FAO said 2013 we have to start very seriously to make a switch towards other more sustainable productions of animal proteins and fats. And that is the case with insects, but only if we choose the right insects, and also only if we really seriously start thinking, so what would be a good start in the Western societies to come again into a stage of entomophagy? And my answer is very clear. We have to do it with honeybees. There's several reasons. First, there's no insect in the Western world that has a better reputation as honeybees. They are clean, they are very busy, they are associated with love, with sunshine, with summer, with flowers, with sweetness, and. So there's no marketing needed for them. compared with a mealworm. And second, we already throw away hundreds of tons of edible larvae and pupas of honeybees every year. But nobody knows, or nobody wants to know, especially the people in charge. I sometimes think they don't want to know it. I don't exactly know why, but I have my idea, and that's what the book is about. Only in Little Switzerland, every year, hundreds of tons of the pupas and larvae of the male honeybees, drones, are cut out in a strategy, in a biological strategy to fight against the varroa mite. They cut out 100 tons of drone larvae and pupas and throw them away. So imagine, these are the best edible insects that you can think of. They are already produced in food producing facilities. They are controlled. They have a pest management in the apiculture, and also some of them are organically produced. So we have already practically dozens of tons of organically produced edible insects that we throw away every year. In Switzerland, around 100 tons, Europe alone, more than 500 tons, I don't know, USA, North America, I would guess more than 1,000 tons of edible drone larvae and pupas that we throw away each year. So why not start with them? Because it's not allowed, officially, to sell them on the market and to serve them in a restaurant. Because for that, the food regulation authorities must put Apis mellifera, that's the scientific name of the honeybee, into the list of edible animals. And that's not the case for the moment. Why? Because they have chosen to first put in the insects that are produced for pet animals. Like, for example, grasshoppers, mealworm, crickets. In Europe, it's already an industry producing them in big masses for the pet food shops. And modern cooks who want to promote edible insects, sustainable edible insects, they send their customers to the pet food shops to buy their mealworms and grasshoppers there, to eat them at home as a feast of edible food. But that's a joke, because the quality of insects that are offered in pet food shops, they are the worst you can imagine of. They are even not allowed to as feed for animals that you eat yourself, like or also egg producing chicken or something like that. So let's start with honeybee. That's what the people can get from this book as an idea, and also all the facts and arguments for it are listed in this book. Second question from Charlotte: who is it for? I think mostly, and I really hope that it will be going like that. I think this is the best book for every apiculturist in the world. The beekeepers, they should know about how valuable the larvae and pupas of their honeybees are that they have to throw away every year. So also it can be an added value for their work. As we know, in Switzerland, beekeepers have the lowest wage in agriculture. They earn in Switzerland 7.80 Swiss francs per hour. That's around a third of the minimum wages, and I think that in other countries it's not quite different. And then, of course, it's an interesting book for cooks who are really innovative. I mean, I try to do my best putting in some really nice and also some really crazy sometimes recipes. The craziest probably the mayonnaise. It's mayonnaise made with larvae and pupas of honeybees instead of egg, and it was very, very nice mayonnaise, I can tell you, but other things too. So innovative cooks. So people in the gastro industry, also people who are innovative in as food retailers. For example, in Switzerland it would be Coop and Migros and Aldi and Lidl and all this stuff. So if they want to be at the forefront of things that will come in the next decades, so they should read this book. And everybody who's interested in nature and in food, and yeah, that would be, I think, a good book. So practically everybody, but I know that a lot of people can't think about eating insect. They have very big barriers against the thinking to really try to eat an insect. But this will come with the tongue, because if you eat it the first time, you will be not against eating insects anymore, especially the honeybees. How did you do it? Did you have a team? Yes, of course I have a team of friends who support me very well and who are on my side fighting for it, but they don't have so much time for big or money for an investment into this thing. They have also other things to do. Especially I think about the people who supported me, giving me the bee larvae and so on, and making some experiments with me. But mostly the book was made by myself, also the pictures. As you probably know, I'm an artist. I was in the media also 30 years ago, so I have a lot of knowledge also about producing books. And that's why it's here. So I started actually writing it in June this year, and it was finished 3rd September, printed and finished like this for the Skyfood conference in Zurich. So why did you choose making it? I think I already explained that. It's just my idea that we should think now about which are the best insects to start with into a phase of entomophagy. And for my opinion, it's very clear. We already have 20,000 beekeepers in Switzerland with all their knowledge of keeping insects and producing already 100 tons of larvae and pupas of the best edible insects you can imagine. So why not start with them? I have my answer, yes we should, but ask the people who are responsible for the political and regulatory decisions. They don't seem to agree with you, but everything I hear is quite different. They want to start with mealworms and crickets and grasshoppers. I'm not against them, you know. A lot of people think, yeah, Daniel is always against mealworms. That's not true. It's only if you look at it very seriously, you must find out first that mealworms and crickets and grasshoppers, they are not that sustainable. If you look at how they are fed and how much chitin they contain that is not digestible, and how much energy have to be put into the production process, they are not that sustainable. I have another one. Look, we are just now on the brink into a new phase of agriculture. So if in 2-3 years regulatory authorities say yes, insects are for the food sector, also in Europe, then it's part of agriculture. And people should think about, why do I keep goats or cows? I can keep insects for eating. Yeah, I know this is far away from things that people in the think tanks of agriculture in Europe think. They have practically no idea, because I've not seen any of them in one of the conferences we did in the last 2 years. So seriously, they should prepare for a new phase of agriculture where insects are part of agricultural products, like chicken or pigs or fish or whatever. Yeah. So why not think about other insects? I have here one insect. Why only think small, like grasshopper, like think big? Why not this one? Why is not this a nice edible insect? It's a living pupa of the biggest, or one of the biggest insects that we know at this time. It's an elephant beetle pupa. This must be around 60, 70 grams. So that's a real huge animal. Why not think about edible insects like this? What is this larva of this insect eating? Not high protein things as crickets that are fed with chicken feed, not like a mealworms that are fed with also high protein things, and of course, like the name says, meal, flour, or the grasshoppers also. No, they eat rotten wood. So that's not in concurrence with human nutrition. So why not think about this kind of insects as edible insects in the future? And that's the situation now we're in, and that's to bring in a new niveau into the discussion about edible insects. I decided to write this book. Why focusing on these insects especially? Yeah, I explained it. We already produce them in food producing facilities, so let's start with them. We have thousands of people with knowledge of insect keeping with our beekeepers, so let's start with their knowledge. They also have knowledge about working in a food producing facility and with pest management and. What are your next plans? Yeah, the next plan, I will tell you this secret now. Next year I will publish the next book. It's called Skyfood. You know, that's the name that I invented for the whole class of edible insects. So that like with seafood, that is everything that lives in the water. We have like sky food, everything that comes from the sky. And as you know, insects have been the first animals on the planet Earth that could fly, already 100 million years before the first flying dinosaurs. So Skyfood will be the name of the book. It will be about edible insects in the whole world, not focused only on our pet food insects like we do now in the Western world at the moment, but to have a really big horizon about what entomology could be for us Westerners in the next 2,000 years or even longer, and when can we be wait from them? I think we can be happy because there's also so much new things coming into our kitchen, also new technologies, what we can do with them, and so I think this next book also will be as interesting as the Beezza King Bee Cookbook, that is mainly focused now on the use of our honeybee drone larvas and pupas. Starts next spring again, then between April and June, mostly the apiculturists cut out the drones, and then you have to go ask them, can I have some? I have the Book of Ombil, I want to cook some beekeepers' pancakes. So hopefully, Charlotte, I answered your question, and for all others, go to see her channel about edible insects, and first, please support my crowdfunding project on We Make It. You will see the address here. Thanks for watching.